Today we are going to read from Hebrews chapter 12 and the first 3 verses, reminding ourselves that this epistle was written in one full context, which we will come back to. So everything has to be looked to as a result of what Jesus did on the cross. We are reading, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything, every burden that hinder us, and the sin that so easily entangle us, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider, meaning think of, him who endured such opposition from sinful men, so that you will not grow weary or lose heart." We should always keep the context in mind when you read Hebrews 11 and 12. It is important to realize that this epistle, as all other Bible texts, were written in one piece and not divided into chapters and verses, as it is by the translators. This means that we have to consider these chapters before as a direct follow-up and conclusion to the previous chapters. The faith that is mentioned in various ways in the 11th chapter is faith in what is written in chapter 1 to 10, namely faith in the crucified and resurrected Savior, our high priest and our sacrifice, our Redeemer, who shed his blood. This is the only way to salvation and to sanctification. Even the Old Testament saints looked ahead in time and expecting the same Savior and the coming heavenly kingdom. Jesus said that Abraham looked forward to the days of Christ. All those listed up in chapter 11 had the same longing and expectations as we have. So as the 11th chapter tells us about those who put their faith in the coming Christ, the 12th chapter tells us how to put our faith in the same Christ. The source of our faith should always be Christ, as he is described so detailed in chapter 1 to 10. The object of our faith should be what he accomplished on the cross. It is not faith in the faith, but it is faith in the shed blood of Christ on the cross. Why should we focus on the crucified Christ? We should do that because it is the only way to be free from sin and from burdens and endure hardship. Based on the fact that God gave his very best, Christ, he has given us everything with him according to Romans 8:32. You are his child if you're born again. So you can cast your burden on him because he cares for you. You don't have to worry. He loves you and he'll never leave you nor forsake you. The cross is God's guarantee, which since he loved you so much, he'll never let you go, but he will stick to you, he'll stay by your side as long as you put your faith in what Jesus did on the cross. So let him take your burden. He already carried them on the cross. We are told to get rid of sin. That is a big problem even for many Christians. But there is only one way to get rid of sin, the same way as to get rid of everything else that is a burden and a hindrance to us, looking unto Jesus, counting on Him, trusting in Him and what He did on the cross. A Christian is not free from temptations or sinful influence from this wicked world. We are constantly under attack. But God has given us the solution to these problems in and by the cross, where Jesus conquered all the army of the enemy. And He has conquered everything that will come against you and give you a problem in your life, even all kind of sin and sinful things. Jesus have conquered all of this on the cross. So your only way to be an overcomer, to have victory over sin, is by putting your trust in Jesus Christ and Him alone. Endure hardship, says the author of the Hebrews. When we realize what Christ suffered for us and what pain and agony He went through, we will not easily complain or give up in our trouble, since they are a lot smaller than His. We will not pity ourselves so much if we behold the sufferings of Christ. The cross will be an inspiration to endure the hardship that we have to face. Just like our beloved Savior, we have a joy before us. One day we shall behold Him and see His glory and be with Him forever. So, in conclusion, how can we live in victory? How can we receive power to overcome sin, burden, hardship, and so on? It talks about looking at Jesus, focusing on Him. Just as the children of Israel were looking on the brass serpent in the desert, they received life, healing by their faith. They neutralized the poison from the snakes by looking onto that bronze snake. We can find faith in the finished work in Calvary, and by that we can have victory over sin. Think of Jesus. Prayer will help you to focus on Jesus and think of Him, according to Philippians 4:5. It is not prayer itself that gives the victory, but it is the one we are focusing on when we are praying, namely Christ. He is the source to victory. He is the helper in our problems. He is the one who has overcome all the things we are struggling with, and He will help us to overcome them as well. So God bless you to look on Jesus, focus on Him,